Hey everyone, Charlie here. Welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, today I need to eat a bit of crow. If you've been around here for a while, you know that I have made some rather disparaging comments about the way people treat or the way people act when they get a cold. For the most part, when people get a cold, they go to the hospital. If I go to work and I have literally just a cold, people say, why didn't you go to the hospital? Things like that. And up until recently, I thought it was pretty damn ridiculous, because back home, as I've stated before, back in the States, you know what you do when you get a cold? Maybe you have yourself a can of Campbell's soup. Maybe you have a little bit of hot tea with some lemon in the morning, get a little honey for the throat in there, and you go to work and you deal with it and you're good to go, right? Maybe you pop some ibuprofen for the headache or something. I don't know what you do, but the point is, you don't go to the damn hospital. Now, truth be told, here in Japan, a lot of the times, they won't really do that much for you when you go to the hospital. You'll go in there, you'll tell them what's wrong, they'll tell you aren't dying, go home, get some rest. They'll give you a really weak kind of medicine, because the medicines here that you get at the hospital or over the counter, any place that you get, compared to the ones you get back in the States, are basically like eating candy that may or may not remove a headache or a sore throat or whatever, right? So it often feels like going to the hospital is just a good way to waste your time and a little bit of money. But, if you have a sickness that lasts for a long time, or you think it might last for a long time, or even if you don't, I'm here to tell you, eating the aforementioned crow, that you should just go to the damn hospital and save yourself a lot of pain and probably a lot of money. Now, to make my case, I present to you Exhibits A. Or I don't really know, I'm not a lawyer if I have to say Exhibit A and Exhibit B, because they're two different things. They're both medicine, so for the sake of this video, I'm doing a really good job today. These are Exhibit A, right? You have here a 12-tab box of cough medicine. This is a Esteka Ibu. This is, for your nose, for your brain, for your cough, for your throat, blah, 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 for everything, right? This thing is supposed to be the cure-all. This over here, you got your good old handy-dandy Vicks Vapor Rub. Don't put it on your feet. What's wrong with you? This right here, again, this is 12 tabs, right? If you have a decent cold, you're going to go through this box okay, so 2 tabs per time you take this, right? And you can take it, up to 3 times a day. You'll go through this 2 days. Space it out 3 days, maybe. 1,400 yen, or about $12. This, Vicks Vapor Rub, same thing. Not really all that effective for a lot of things, 600 yen. The point I'm trying to make here, you can spend a lot on over-the-counter medicines here that aren't really going to do all that much for you. In my experience, as somebody who is used to medicines that work really quickly, probably because they give you enough medicine, high enough dosage in the States to cure a horse of the common cold or whatever, and it just doesn't seem to do all that much. But particularly as I was 2 weeks ago when I was buying 2 boxes of these a week, that's $30 a week just so I could sort of get through the day and not feel really terrible. Yeah, man, it really adds up really, really quickly. So that is the first problem. The medicine can be really, really weak here, and it might not solve your problem, but you might still be spending a ton of money on it, right? Now, you might be thinking, as I was, because I'm an American, even if you have insurance and you go to the hospital, guess what? You're still going to be paying out the ass for your hospital bill. Not the case here if you have insurance. And I should point out that my insurance is the employer-provided insurance. It's a bit better than the national insurance that sort of everybody can get. But to go in, to have myself seen, to get an x-ray on my chest to make sure I didn't have anything more serious than bronchitis, to talk with a doctor, to talk with 2 different doctors, and all that jazz, all said and done, everything I had done at the hospital, total was 1,400 yen, the same amount that I paid for that box of medicine, one of those boxes of medicine, right? And in that time, they put my mind at ease, because I was starting to think that something was really wrong with me, because I've had this sort of chest cold for a couple of weeks, but that's pretty normal for a chest cold. And yeah, they put my mind at ease, they gave me an x-ray, they showed me that, I didn't have any weird growths that they could see by an x-ray. It didn't look like the bronchitis was all that serious and stuff like that, so that was thing number 1, right? So out of that amount of money for 1 box of that medicine, I was given a little bit of peace of mind, right? And like I said, with my insurance, 1,400 yen, not bad. However, the 3 to 4 hour wait time wasn't really all that great to go through, as you might imagine. Now, of course, when you're sick, depending on who you are, I guess, and your values about medication and things like that. For example, I hate taking medication unless I really have to, unless it's gone on for a long time, as is the case now. Medication often figures into you getting better. And from the hospital, I received prescriptions for no fewer than 7 medications, right? And for different reasons, for fever, for aches, for phlegm, for cough, for making sure I didn't get infections from the tears in my throat from coughing so much. And I also had like a gargle to make sure that, I killed any viruses, what would be left over in my mouth. 7 different medications. I took that to the pharmacist just across the street from the hospital. In total, 730 yen. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute, as my mind was blown by this too, right? So I go to the hospital, I pay 1,400 yen for the visit, and then total for all the medications, I pay another approximately 700 yen, right? So total 2,100 yen for a checkup, that peace of mind I mentioned, and enough medication for just about a week and a half is what it ended up coming down to. For 730 yen, total 2,100 yen. Right, and it just blows my mind as an American, even after being here for 2.5 years and having to go to the hospital for something much more serious than a chest cold, if you guys remember that. It's incredible to me that the healthcare system here seems to be set up in a way so as not to be punitive to me when I get sick, right? So I don't know that I really need to sum this up. I think that everything should be sort of self-explanatory at this point. But again, eating my words here, if you have a cold, if you get the flu, if anything happens to you, it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be better for like your peace of mind and everything else like that for you simply to go to the hospital. And 9 times out of 10, your employer is going to ask you to go. It seems like here, particularly if they think you may have the flu, for the safety of your coworkers and for the safety of your students, if you're in a situation where you're going to be teaching, right? So I'm hoping that this is going to be useful information for anybody who's going to be coming over here to live. I can't really speak to how affordable the hospital systems are here if you're just coming over here to visit. If you don't have national insurance or you aren't part of any sort of Japanese insurance program, I can't speak to that. But again, if you're coming over here to teach, you're coming over here to work, whatever the case may be, keep the hospital in mind. Particularly if you're an American, I understand why you might not want to go to the hospital, both because we have this national pride about we don't worry about getting the common cold, and because we're worried that if we go to the hospital, they're going to take our life savings from us. It's just not the case here, and it'll really save you a lot of money and a lot of pain, and ultimately kind of a lot of time, even though it also take a lot of time. So anyway, guys, thanks always for watching. Please like and share the video if you found it useful, or whatever. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.